Hey everyone, welcome to the show. Ever feel like, your past is like this anchor holding you back from really letting love in?
Yeah.
That's kind of the heart of what Rachel's going through in Baked.
hmm
It's by Isabel Reed.
Oh, baked. Yeah, I know that feeling. It's such a common, like a universal struggle, right? We all have those moments where, um, past experiences can really influence how we approach intimacy and trust.
Right. And that's what I think makes Baked so powerful. It's the third book in her Love Brand series.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And let me tell you, this one really heats things up. But it's not just about the romance, it's not just a fluffy read. It goes deep. I mean, really explores healing and vulnerability and finding the courage to love again after you've been hurt.
Yeah, I like that. Like second chances, new beginnings. But it's scary putting yourself out there again, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And what I find so fascinating is how Reed does this, how she portrays these really like complex themes, but through this charming small town setting
Yeah.
and with characters who feel like so real. Like you could run into them at I don't know, at the grocery store or
Oh,
something.
totally. Makes it so much more relatable.
Yeah. So we've got Rachel, she's a baker and she's built this amazing life for herself, but she's still dealing with the trauma from her childhood.
It's like those scars, the emotional ones. They can linger even when everything else seems perfect.
Yeah, yeah. And then we have Hunter. Oh, Hunter, he is like the strong, silent type, like
Mm.
to the extreme. He's a firefighter, like the classic hero
I
image,
can picture him already.
right?
Yeah.
And he is instantly drawn to Rachel, but he's also got his own, baggage he's carrying around, past hurts, things he needs to work through.
Yeah, yeah. Everyone's got their stuff. It's like, how do you navigate that when you're trying to connect with someone?
Right, right. And I think that's where the whole, opposites attract idea, it gets
Yeah.
really interesting. On the surface, they seem totally mismatched, right?
Great.
She's fiery, independent, and he's all, reserved and overprotective.
Oh, interesting. Like fire and water.
Yeah, exactly. But as their relationship, as it unfolds, you realize they both want the same thing. They're both looking for that safe and loving connection.
Makes sense. Yeah. They just express it differently. So is this like a slow burn or are we talking like instant fireworks?
Well, it's a bit of both, actually. There's this underlying like sizzle, right from the start.
Yeah.
But they're both so guarded, they're both afraid to let their walls down.
Makes you want to just shake them and be like, come on already.
Right.
Mm.
So let's talk about Hunter's protectiveness for a second.
hmm
Because, I mean, he is practically her shadow. He walks her home, insists she move in with him for safety,
hmm
even changes his work shifts to be near her. So is this romantic or is it getting a little, controlling? What do you think?
That's a good question. It's a fine line, right? Protection versus possession. I think initially, Hunter's actions, they come from a good place. He wants to keep Rachel safe, especially with those threats she's facing from her father's like shady associates.
Oh, right. Yeah.
But it does kind of reveal some of his own insecurities, like a need to be in control. And remember, he's coming out of a marriage where he was, betrayed.
Yeah.
So trusting someone new, it's not easy for him.
Yeah, that makes sense. And that's where the clash with Rachel's personality is so interesting because she's not some damsel in distress waiting to be rescued. She's a survivor. She built this successful business. She's got her own life. So
Yeah.
she's not going to just sit back and let him run the show.
Oh, I bet she pushes back.
Oh, she does. Remember that scene where she compares being escorted everywhere to walking a dog?
Oh, yeah. Hilarious.
Right. That captures their dynamic perfectly.
Yeah.
It's this push and pull between her need for independence
Yeah.
and his desire to protect her. And I think that's also where Reed's humor really shines. The dialogue is witty, it's sharp, and it kind of balances out some of those, heavier emotional themes.
Yeah, keeps it from getting too, angsty.
Exactly. It's not all doom and gloom. There's this underlying current of attraction between them, and it comes out in these really funny exchanges sometimes.
Like they can't help but be drawn to each other, even when they're butting heads.
Yeah, yeah. It's like they're constantly, testing each other, pushing each other's buttons, but there's that spark, that undeniable chemistry that keeps you hooked.
It's that tension, right? The will they, won't they?
Exactly. And that's what makes their relationship so captivating, I think. You see them slowly, chip away at each other's walls, revealing those vulnerabilities they've hiding for so long.
It's like they're peeling back the layers, getting to the real person underneath.
Yeah. And it's a gradual process. They don't just suddenly fall head over heels.
Mhm.
You see these subtle shifts in how they interact. Like, remember at the beginning, Hunter could barely, like, string a sentence together around Rachel.
Oh, that's cute.
Right. He's this big, tough guy, and he turns into like a bumbling mess when she's around. It's adorable.
Shows you how much she affects him.
Right. And then later on, he's calling her, pet names like Honey Bun. And it's sweet, but it's also a little possessive.
Oh, yeah, like he's marking his territory.
Yeah, it's like he's claiming her, but in a way that shows he's becoming more comfortable with expressing affection.
That's a good sign, right? Like he's letting his guard down.
Right, right. And I think that shift in their dynamic also kind of highlights another theme, like the evolution of masculinity.
Oh, interesting. How so?
Well, Hunter starts out embodying this really traditional, stoic, strong, silent type. But as the story goes on, he starts to embrace vulnerability. He starts to express his emotions more openly. It's like he's learning that it's okay to let people in, to let his guard down.
Yeah, and that's so important for, healthy relationships, being able to be open and honest with your feelings.
Exactly. And it's not just Rachel who's going through a transformation. Hunter is on his own journey too. And I think a key turning point for both of them is the break-in at Rachel's apartment.
Oh, yeah, that scene was intense.
Right. It's not just about the suspense and the danger. It's about how that shared experience forces them to confront their deepest fears.
It's like facing a crisis together, it can bring people closer.
Yeah. For Rachel, it triggers all those feelings of vulnerability and insecurity, all those things that stem from her abusive childhood. And for Hunter, it activates his protective instincts. But it also reveals his fear of losing someone he cares about.
I see. So it's like under that tough exterior, he's got his own vulnerabilities.
Exactly. And I think that shared vulnerability, that's what brings them closer. It
Yeah.
creates this space for them to connect on a deeper level, to start being more honest with each other. It's not just about the physical attraction anymore. It's about emotional intimacy.
Makes sense. It's like they're seeing each other as whole people, flaws and all, not just this idealized version.
Right, exactly. And that's where the true depth of this book lies. It's not just a light and fluffy romance. It's about the complexities of human connection, and the journey of healing and self-discovery that can come with falling in love.
Deep stuff.
It is. But it's also, it's also really funny and heartwarming. And
Yeah.
I think that's what makes Isabel Reed so talented. She can balance those different elements so well.
Yeah, got to keep it balanced, right?
Exactly. And it's not just about the romantic relationship either. Reed really shows the importance of friendship and community, that support system.
Oh, yeah. Those ride or die friends, they can make all the difference.
Right. There's this wonderful dynamic between Rachel, Hunter, and their group of friends. They provide support, humor, and sometimes a little bit of a reality check, when they meet it.
It's like having that chosen family, that safety net.
Exactly. It's like this warm embrace, that surrounds them, offering this sense of belonging, of safety. And let's not forget about Luke.
Luke. Oh, yeah, Hunter's best friend. What about him?
He's introduced as this quiet, almost brooding character. But then there's this really unexpected scene where he opens up to Rachel about Hunter's past.
Really?
Yeah, and he basically begs her to go easy on him. It's so sweet.
Oh, wow. That's deep. Shows you how much he cares about Hunter.
Right. It reveals so much about their friendship, that loyalty and understanding, that goes unspoken, but it's so strong. And it also kind of hints that Luke's got his own stuff going on,
Yeah.
Like there's more to his story than we see on the surface.
Okay. Intriguing. Makes you want to know more.
Right. Like maybe there's a whole book in the series about him waiting to be written. I'd read it.
Me too. Sounds like a great character. And speaking of intriguing characters, let's talk a bit more about Hunter's past. Because that scene where he finally opens up to Rachel about his divorce. Oh, it's heartbreaking. You really feel that pain, that humiliation he's still carrying around.
Yeah, it's rough. It's like he's finally letting his guard down,
Mm.
allowing Rachel to see those wounded parts of himself. And it explains so much about his reluctance to trust, his need for control. He's terrified of being hurt again.
Totally understandable. When you've been burned like that, it's hard to open yourself up again.
Right. And of course, that fear complicates things with Rachel because she's also carrying all that baggage from her childhood, the abandonment, the rejection.
Oh, yeah, they've both got their scars. It's like, can they heal together?
Right. And we see her struggle with those insecurities, those deep-seated ones. Like when she compares herself to, like, the kind of girl guys just hook up with and dump, it breaks your heart to see her struggling with her self-worth, especially when she's so strong and capable in other areas of her life.
It's that inner voice, the one that tells you you're not good enough. We all have it sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. And it's through her relationship with Hunter that she starts to challenge those negative beliefs. He sees her strength, her resilience, and he won't let her diminish herself. But their journey towards healing and acceptance, oh, it's not easy. And it all kind of leads up to this incredibly dramatic climax.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. That scene where Rachel gets attacked and Hunter gets shot trying to protect her.
Yeah.
So intense.
Right. Talk about a heart-stopping moment. And that's actually where we're going to leave things for now.
Cliffhanger.
I know, I know. But stay tuned, because in part two, we're going to dive into the emotional fallout of that attack, the challenges Rachel and Hunter face, and how their love is really put to the test. It's going to be a wild ride.
I mean, that shooting really changes things, doesn't it? It's not just about the actual danger, the physical part. It's like the emotional shockwaves, the
Yeah.
aftermath.
Oh, absolutely. It's like their whole world just like shatters in that moment. And what's so interesting is how differently they each react, how they cope with that trauma.
Yeah, it's like they both go inward, but in completely different ways.
Right. Rachel, she's consumed by guilt, by fear,
Yeah.
and she convinces herself that she's the reason it happened, that her past, her history is putting Hunter in danger.
It's that self-blame, like she's taking responsibility for someone else's actions.
Yeah, and it leads her to this really heartbreaking decision. She leaves Wood Valley. She just takes off, thinking that she's, protecting Hunter by pushing him away.
Oh, man. It's like
Yeah.
running away from the problem, but also like running away from love.
Right, and it's
Yeah.
so classic. It's like her past trauma, it all comes flooding back. Those feelings of not being worthy, of being abandoned, all those things she's carried for so long, it's like they take over.
Yeah, those old patterns, they can be hard to break.
Exactly. It's like she's back in that survival mode, you know?
Yeah.
Like she's got to protect herself, even if it means pushing away the one person who actually truly cares about her. And meanwhile, you've got Hunter. Physically, he's recovering from the gunshot, but emotionally, he's devastated. He's just reeling from Rachel's sudden disappearance.
Poor guy. Can you imagine? Like, first you get shot, then the woman you love just vanishes.
It's rough. He's grappling with his own emotional wounds, the confusion, the hurt, and he just wants to understand why she left. It's classic miscommunication. They both love each other so deeply, but all those insecurities, those past traumas, they create this massive wall between them.
Makes you just want to scream at the book, talk to each other.
Right. And that's where I think the supporting characters, they become so crucial, especially Kat. She's Rachel's best friend, and she's just this force of nature.
Oh, Kat. She's the best. Like that friend who always tells you what you need to hear, even if it's not what you want to hear.
Yeah. She's blunt, she's hilarious, she's got this no-nonsense approach that cuts right through all of Rachel's, her emotional turmoil. Do you remember that scene where Kat basically tells Rachel to stop being an idiot and fight for the love she deserves?
Oh, yeah. Kat doesn't sugarcoat anything. She's like, wake up, girl.
Exactly. And it's a real turning point, I think. Kat reminds Rachel that running away doesn't solve anything, that true love is worth fighting for, even when it's scary. So while Rachel's on this emotional roller coaster, trying to sort everything out, Hunter's back home, recovering, but determined to find her.
He's not giving up easily. That's good.
No, not at all. His love for her it's unwavering. He's reaching out, trying to contact her, but she's gone completely off the grid. No phone, no email, nothing.
Oh, man. Talk about making things difficult.
It's frustrating, for him and for us as readers,
Yeah.
because they're like, come on, you guys belong together. Just, work it out.
Yeah, you just want to shove him into a room and be like, talk.
Right. But they have to work through their own stuff first. And that's where I think the parallel storyline with Rachel visiting her father in prison, it becomes so important.
Oh, yeah. That was heavy. Like going back to the source of so much pain.
It's a really intense, emotionally charged encounter, and it reveals so much about, the root of Rachel's insecurities. Her father, Leo, he hasn't changed. He's still that same manipulative, emotionally abusive man he always was. Even from prison, he manages to inflict pain, to reinforce those deepest fears she has, those fears of being unwanted, unlovable.
It's like sometimes family can be the most toxic thing in your life.
It's true. And it's such a stark reminder of, that toxic environment she escaped from and how deeply it affected her. But it's also a pivotal moment because she finally confronts him.
Oh, good. About time.
She stands up to him, refuses to be his victim anymore, and in doing so, I think she starts to break free from his emotional hold. Like she realizes, I don't need his approval. I don't need his validation to be worthy of love, to be worthy of happiness.
It's like she finally reclaims her power.
Exactly. It's an empowering moment. It's the beginning of her healing. And meanwhile, Hunter's back home, recovering, trying to deal with his own emotional turmoil. And he's desperate to find Rachel, to fix things, to make things right. And in this moment of pure desperation, pure love, he does something completely out of character. He bakes.
He bakes. Hunter, Mr. Tough Guy, bakes.
He bakes cupcakes, to be specific.
Uh-huh.
And it's such a classic Isabel Reed move. It's funny, it's heartwarming, it's perfect. You've got this big, strong firefighter who probably doesn't even know where the measuring cups are, and he decides to express his love through baking.
That's adorable. And I bet they were terrible.
Oh, they were a disaster. Flat, sad, probably tasted like, I don't even know.
Yeah.
But it's the thought that counts, right?
Totally. It's the effort, the grand gesture, even if it's a bit clumsy.
Yeah.
He's putting himself out there, being vulnerable in a way that he never has before.
Exactly. And Rachel, even though she's probably like terrified of getting food poisoning, she sees it. She sees the love behind those misshapen cupcakes.
It's the thought that counts, right?
Yeah, exactly. And it's a turning point for her too, I think. She sees that Hunter is willing to step outside his comfort zone for her, that he's not afraid to be vulnerable, to express his emotions. It's a big deal.
Yeah, for both of them. It's like they're both taking a risk, putting their hearts on the line.
And that leads to, well, the proposal.
The proposal. Oh, I love a good proposal scene.
This one's a good one. It's really beautiful. Hunter just pours his heart out. He asks Rachel to marry him, and he's not shying away from any of it. He's accepting all her flaws, all her baggage, all those things she's afraid of.
Huh. That's true love right there, accepting someone for who they truly are.
Exactly. And of course, she says yes.
Oh, I knew she would. It's like the perfect ending to their journey. They've both been through so much, but they choose to build a future together based on trust and acceptance.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And it's a satisfying ending.
Yeah.
At least you feeling all warm and fuzzy inside.
Right. Like love conquers all kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. But, Isabel Reed, she always throws in a little twist.
Oh, there's a twist. I love twists.
Oh, yeah. She doesn't disappoint. The book wraps up with this glimpse into their future. They move in together, start planning the wedding, all that happy stuff. But then there's this epilogue, and it jumps ahead a few weeks, and bam, we get a whole new layer of intrigue.
Okay, I'm hooked. Tell me more.
So it takes place at the fire station with Luke. Remember Luke? He's having a rough day, gets hit in the face with a door, just grumpy all around. And then out of nowhere, this woman walks in asking for him.
Ooh, mysterious woman. I like it.
Right, and she claims to be a friend of his brother. But here's the thing. Luke doesn't have a brother.
Wait, what? No brother. So who is she?
That's the million-dollar question.
Right.
It's a total mystery. Who is this woman? Why is she looking for Luke? What's the deal with this phantom brother? It's like Isabel Reed is just dropping this little bomb and then walking away.
Oh, I see what she did there. Setting us up for the next book.
Right. It's like she's planting the seed for a whole new story.
Yeah.
And I, for one, cannot wait to see where it goes.
Yeah, I'm already hooked. So is there anything about the next book in the series? Any little hints or teasers?
Well, actually, we get a little sneak peek at the next book, Hothead. It features Libby, one of Rachel's best friends.
Libby. Oh, yeah, I liked her. The one who just moved to Wood Valley and, immediately set her kitchen on fire.
That's the one. Talk about a memorable entrance. And guess who comes to her rescue?
Let me think. It's got to be someone from the fire station, right? Maybe. Zach.
Bingo. Zach, one of Hunter's fellow firefighters. And the excerpt we get, it hints at this, really fun, flirty dynamic between them. Libby is just like this whirlwind of chaos, and Zach seems totally drawn to her quirky energy.
Sounds like a fun pairing. I can't wait to read it.
Yeah, it looks like another winner. And, I think that's what I love about Isabel Reed. She just has this knack for creating these characters who are, relatable, lovable. You just can't help but root for them.
It's true. She writes real people, with flaws and insecurities and big hearts.
Exactly. And her stories, they're this perfect blend of humor and heart and just enough, steaminess to keep things interesting.
Gotta have that romance.
Of course.
Yeah.
But they also explore those deeper themes,
Yeah.
about self-acceptance, healing, the power of love and friendship. It's not all just fluff. There's real substance there.
Yeah, there's something for everyone, and I love that it's a series, so we get to see these characters grow and change over time. It's like checking in with old friends.
It is. It creates this sense of community, a world you want to be a part of. And it reminds us that, even when life throws those curveballs, those challenges, there's always hope, there's always laughter, and there's always love.
Love and cupcakes.
And cupcakes, exactly. So what about you? What really stood out for you in our deep dives into Baked? What resonated with you? Was it Rachel's journey, Hunter's transformation, the awesome friendships? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Share them in the comments below. And hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tell your friends. We'll see you next time.